Peace and blessings, folks. Happy Tuesday. I hope all is well with each and every single one of you. You might not have noticed, but I kind of been on a hiatus from social media. Much needed break. But I do hope and pray everything is going well with everybody tonight. It's good to be up here with some good people. I'm looking forward to tonight's conversation. Real quick, Friday is here. The Pen and Soul Awards, 8 o'clock. Tap in, like, share it out, spread the word. It's about to go down. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to bringing these artists up here, highlighting their gift, showing love, and giving flowers where they are due. A lot of amazing people come through these hallways, whether it's on YouTube or it's on TikTok or on Twitter. A lot of these poets, man, really get down with this pen. Like, the ink game is not a game. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? So Friday, 8 p.m., tap in. Me, Sarah, um, Anna's my judge. We got a couple prizes we're going to give out for the winners. I'm excited. Tomorrow is the return of Cryptic Creed Paranormal. They had to pull back, but we getting back into it. Like I said, I've been away, but I've still been behind the scenes working. So make sure you tap in for that one. If you got a story you want to share, you're more than welcome to come up. Just email me. We'll make something happen. Tonight, though, I'm excited about this one. This is the first time I've gotten a chance to have this brother up. We've had conversations off camera prior to this. I met this young gentleman on Threads a few months ago. Hard-working brother, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what he has going forward in the future. I'm gonna give him the floor to introduce himself, all that good stuff, and we're gonna get into tonight's conversation. Y'all make sure y'all give a warm welcome to Blue Couch Therapy.
Backstage. Greetings, everybody. Greetings. It's a pleasure to be here. Blessings be upon you all. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. It's a pleasure to be up here and to be able to speak our truth and to just advance whatever we can.
Likewise. Um, Before we go any further into the dialogue, I want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to the world, properly.
Sure.
They might not be familiar with your work or what you do. I just want them to get an idea of what they're about to witness here and moving forward in the future. So uh, I give you the floor to, introduce yourself, and we'll go from there.
Amazing. Thank you. Well, I'm Blue Couch Therapy 88. I can be found on that handle on all social media platforms. My main area of expertise and specialization is the mind sciences, seeing how our thoughts create our reality and how changing our minds is the first step to changing our lives. So for me, you can expect to see motivational and inspirational content. I finished building my studio as we speak now. I've got some other little tweaks that I've got to take care of, but soon we're going to be talking about more motivational, inspirational content, as well as money management strategies and different kinds of ways that we can take back power in our own hands.
Sounds good. And y'all might not be familiar, but I'm fairly hip to what he got going on. He's very very serious about what he does, his
Thank
approach,
you.
how he attacks his topics and what he's aiming for. Um, what I appreciate about his platform is that it's very structured. You can tell that it's him. Everything about
Hmm.
how everything is put together is suited specifically for a certain demographic. Not to say that people are excluded, but you get a welcoming feel. So definitely tap into his chat. I say chat
Connect with me. I'm
his
here for
channel.
it all.
I'll, right. Um, not gonna lie. When I got the message, I was like, all right, I know this one's gonna have to be something of great importance. The message is gonna have to really mean something, right? I don't get this very often.
Hmm.
So when I do, I want to make sure that when we discuss something, it's going to be of substance. So when I just was racking my brain. I didn't know where I was going to go with this one until I came across a conversation that I had being discussed on YouTube. I believe it was Sunday. I was watching the Whatever podcast, and a gentleman was having a back and forth with a young lady on there that does OnlyFans,
Mm.
and he was trying to get her to answer a question. She returned the question with a question, which ended up coming down to them debating between moral absolutists and consequentialists. I didn't really understand what those two phrases meant until I looked it up. And once I got the definitions for it, I'm looking at it right now. Just for
Mm.
anyone who's not familiar with it, I was like, yeah, this is the one that needs to be brought to the table. So, um, what I'm gonna do real quick, I'm gonna read off the definition for moral absolutist, and then we can go into actually the topic itself, what you think about it. Um, how do you perceive it in today's society and the dynamics between men and women? Because I'm really fascinated by the way people think about this approach. Because in
Hmm.
her argument, she was really trying to defend the fact that what she doesn't morally have any uh, backlash on how it affects men who uh, consume her product.
Mm.
So it says here, moral absolutism asserts that there are certain universal moral principles by which all people's actions may be judged. It is a form of deontology. The challenge with moral absolutism, however, is that there will always be strong disagreements about which moral principles are correct and which are incorrect.
Hmm. That literally brings me to the point. I don't mean to interrupt, but that brings me to the
Which
point. I
go
think it's
which goes back.
you first, brother. You first. You first.
So no, all right. Well, I say this and then I turn it over to you. So if I can try to give a picture here, so woman does, and this doesn't necessarily have to target. I'm not trying to target nobody specifically,
Mm-hmm.
but this is just some framework to give y'all to go on. OnlyFans model says that she doesn't want to date a guy who does pornography. The other panelist, he questions, or he's saying, all right, so first, what's the problem? You're an OnlyFans model. Why don't you want to date someone who's in that field of work? So she gives her reasonings, justifiable, but then he comes back and says, all right, so let me ask you this. So you don't want to deal with someone in that field because of lack of peer bonding, the ability to connect with your spouse, et cetera, et cetera. You gave me a list. All right. Now, do you think that by you doing OnlyFans, do you think that your content is contributing to the outcome of a man that you could possibly see yourself with doing something immoral? And then she goes into saying, well, no, I don't think those correlate at all. It went into a whole spiel. So I turn it over to you. What are your thoughts on the subject and the definition?
Yeah, between the two things, I feel as though to start it, it's hypocritical to say that you would, as an actress or an actor in the adult entertainment industry, that you would create content, but you wouldn't want to date or be in a relationship with somebody that also creates content. Which I feel as though, I mean, perhaps if she spoke about it in the video, I'm not sure. But does she have an opinion on men that consume her content? Would she date a man that consumes her content?
Yeah, and
Hmm.
so here's my thing. She called herself quote unquote a moral absolutist,
Mm.
but then in the same breath, she didn't want to take accountability for her part
Hmm.
in indirectly causing someone to do something indecent. So how can you call
Mm.
yourself being a moral absolutist when you're basically playing both sides of the fence?
Of the fence, exactly.
And I see, and she's not necessarily the issue here. The main issue
Hmm.
that I have with this is the fact that a lot of people, they use this blueprint to kind of shadow the fact that they're basically trying to manipulate and play both sides of the fence so that it fits their way of thinking and their way of living. When in
Hmm.
reality, you are no better or no different in attempting to penalize for the same things. You're just doing it indirectly.
Hmm. Because even for the idea of both concepts, I think who am I to judge? Because even if we think about moral absolutism and it talks about the universal moral principles by which all people can be judged. So is the universal, I guess we got to take a step back and see what is the universal moral principle? Or what are the universal moral principles in which we can define ourselves by?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. Because I feel
and
as though without
that's
that
another
framework,
tricky.
exactly, that's another tricky
Yeah,
one. And then, I mean, I guess it would depend. It depends on what you believe, and then I guess it would depend on then. Now it starts to get into a different subsect where it's like, okay, are you talking about religious texts? Are you talking about other universal guiding factors? Are you talking about the laws of the universe? You know, so that's where it's like. So then, as soon as you get past that next level, then it starts to get even muddier.
it's funny because that never becomes a serious issue until a person is being called out
Mm-hmm.
for something that is ethically not looked at with the most favor.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do anything that goes against, like for me, I'm old school. I was raised that way.
Mm-hmm.
So if you dress a certain way on social media, or you are disrespectful to older people, like your elders and things like that, I look at that as if, you know, you weren't taught certain things, or something is missing in your structure, because I was always taught that you were supposed to always respect your elders. You never cuss
Mm-hmm.
at them. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you give respect where respect is given, and so on and so on. And you dress a certain type of way to attract a
Certain
certain
energies.
a certain person. You have to be presentable. You have to,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to be seen as someone that should be taken serious, then you should dress that way.
Mm-hmm.
And people are making excuses for, oh, I can dress how I want to dress, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm an independent this and whatever you want to frame it as. People just come up with all of these different reasons to do things the way they want, and I think a large
Mm-hmm.
part of that is because uh, we've removed certain principles, like you said. No one really wants religion. No one wants God. No one wants rules.
Mm-hmm.
And
No
once
one
you
wants rules.
remove, yeah, no one wants them. Not unless they're theirs,
Exactly,
right?
unless it's
And I've said
self-imposed.
this before, right? So, and I've said it before, we tend to, as humans, want to create our own world. And within that world, we control as much of our future as we possibly can, which is ironic because we think that we have control and we really don't, because there's always someone else that has more control over what we do than we think we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
The government, uh,
Mm-hmm.
politics, consumer based markets.
Consumerism, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, yes. So it's like, what are we really looking at here? What are we doing with this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is a normal thing? Do you see this a lot in your personal opinion, or is it just me? Because it just because it's a word that isn't really plastered on billboards on
Mm-hmm.
the highway, and does not mean that people don't apply it to their logic.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. So, do you
Mm-hmm.
think this happens a lot? Do you see it? Have you experienced it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for the base foundation and not to be, for the most part, we're hypocrites as human beings. A lot of my thinkings and a lot of the things that I've come to realize is just through observing human beings as people and not trying to put them or to put us in any kind of categories such as we have here tonight, like moral absolutism or consequentialism. Because I feel as though that people are always going to do whatever they want, and they're always going to be self-interested and self-serving. That's what I think. So I feel as though that for what it's worth, there's a scripture in the Bible, I don't even remember which one it is, but it's the idea that people will place burdens onto you that they won't carry themselves. So from that, I see a lot of hypocrisy. I see a lot of people, going back and forth on the double standard where it's okay for me to do this. So it's like it's okay for me to do this, but it's not okay if you do the same thing, you know? So I feel as though that like people oftentimes try to use the sense of moralism to demonize someone else, but also trying to put themselves on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
More often than I would like to.
Yeah, it's tricky when you see
Without
through it.
even realizing. Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Do you think people know what they're doing when
No,
when
absolutely
they're
not.
doing this?
No. I feel honestly, bro, I feel as though that we've been conditioned as people. And I feel as though that like you can't be upset with people because I don't remember which prayer it is, but it says judge them for they don't know what they do. They don't even know. A lot of times people just living, they base their experiences or they base their ideologies based off of things that they have heard, things that were taught to them, things that they learned in school, things that they learned, you know so I feel as though, that I think that's what helps me separate the idea, because it's like the people don't know, and oftentimes when people know better, they do better. So for me, my understanding is that if they're not doing better, they don't know better.
One of the reasons why I enjoy doing these type of streams is because the things that we try to attack and break down are typically situations that put people in that exact spot that you're referring to
Mm-hmm.
about not
Mm-hmm.
knowing. I'm one of them folks who've been there, right? I don't know
Mm-hmm.
everything, and I never
Mm-hmm.
claim to know everything. So when a
Same.
person starts to speak about something that I've never heard before, like this particular
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
problem right here, I need to go back and read and figure out, all right, well, what exactly does this mean? Because a lot of times we are self sabotaging ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not humble enough to realize that, whether or not a person is lying to you by not giving you all the information, or they're giving you all the information and you're too big headed to
Mm-hmm.
realize that they're trying to pull you out of something that you're stuck in.
Mm-hmm.
The the first one, I'll say, all right, I can get with this one. I understand it
Mm-hmm.
now once I've read it. The other one, the one about consequentialist,
Mm-hmm.
that one, when I read it, was a little more based on there's no ethnicity, there's no
Mm-hmm.
religion.
Mm-hmm.
This is for all scopes.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So you can feel a certain way about what a person is doing, how it's affecting someone, and you don't get the same backlash. But I think the two parallel, because sometimes I think we feel we are helping someone or we're doing something in a effective way, and we don't know what effect that we're actually causing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Like someone trying to deliver a message. Like you can
Mm-hmm.
deliver a message all fine and dandy, and you can be very articulate. You can give all
Mm-hmm.
your talking points, and but are you, in my view, are you biblically sound?
Mm-hmm.
Is this from an anointed place?
Mm-hmm.
Is this from a place of experience where you know that you know and you saw it because God has put you in these different positions to understand it, and He
Mm-hmm.
gave you the wisdom
Mm-hmm.
because our wisdom is not reliable. I don't think human
Mm-hmm.
wisdom is reliable at
Mm-hmm.
all. So I mean that's where I'm at.
So then, do you feel as though that if the outcome is positive, that it's okay to do the thing? Because, for example, in consequentialism, it talks about, for instance, most people would agree that lying is wrong. But if telling a lie would save a person's life, consequentialism says that it's the right thing to do. Do you agree?
You know, all right. So my answer, I don't, I know people go around the question a lot. I'm gonna try to just
Sure.
say my answer is yes,
Mm-hmm.
but it comes with a caveat, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had a whole show about this before too, about whether or not um, lying is healthy or not. I can't remember the
Mm-hmm.
title of it, but I think it depends on the way that you are trying to help somebody. If you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to save, if you're trying to save a person from walking off the ledge, and the only way you know how to do that is to kind of manipulate the situation that you know triggers them, I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're using, see, that was my biggest issue, man. We did like an hour or something on that because I was like, man,
Mm-hmm.
if you're direct with the person, does that hurt them
Mm-hmm.
worse than lying?
I think if you're direct with them, it hurts. Here's the thing. I think if you tell them the truth, it hurts them more in the short run, but in the long run, they will understand. Whereas the inverse is that if I lie to you, it might be not that much hurt at the beginning, but when you find out the truth, then the wound is deeper and then you feel it longer. So I feel as though it's like the whole analogy of ripping off the band-aid. Just take it off ASAP. Let them know the truth. Hey, this is this. So that way people can come to their own conclusions and understandings, and they can't turn around and say, hey, Blue Couch Therapy misled me and said something that was this or that or whatever, because I told you the truth. It's up to you now to decide how you feel with that information.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I was never sensitive like that. Like you could tell me,
Mm-hmm.
criticize me, critique me, let me know what I said, and but it's always when you go back and you try to tell the other person,
Mm-hmm.
they can't handle it. But
They
if
can handle
they
it,
say,
right? They have something. Right. Exactly.
but
Exactly.
but
They place burdens on you that they can't carry themselves.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So now it comes to the point to where here we are.
Mm-hmm.
We have these platforms, big or small. We have TikTok, we have Twitter, we have Instagram. We have just a plethora of different places where we can share our thoughts, our opinions, and our views.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing with them? Are we consequentialists, Are we moral absolutists? What are we really doing with our work, our thoughts, our
Mm.
opinions, our views? What is the goal? What is the message when we talk to our friends and our co-workers and people like that? Because I'm older. I'm not. It's not like I'm 16, 15, 14 years old
Mm-hmm.
where I could just be reckless with everything I say out my mouth. We're older. We
Mm-hmm.
have more of a responsibility
Mm-hmm.
in what we do and what we say and how we say it. So I think what my question is, where do we go from here?
Mm.
What
I think we're
what
going
should we
here.
really
Yeah.
do?
You fin no, you finish first. I'll jump in after.
I was just going to say, if I'm looking to the future, I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow is going to bring. I don't know if God's going to wake me up tomorrow. I don't know nothing about tomorrow. What are we looking to do moving forward, where we have people who think like this? They assume that they have it figured out. They know what they're doing. They think that they're doing the right things, but the whole time they are just as lost as the next person. What do we
Mm-hmm.
do with them? How do we get them to understand that, hey, look, maybe your heart is in the right place, but you're kind of misguided.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do with that? And then what do we do with trying to restructure the perception of how people are operating under these ideologies that's really more damaging than they are helpful?
Mm-hmm. 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 I think it's a three-part. It's like it gives me three things that come to mind. Is the first and foremost fact is that we can't save everybody. You know, there's all these people in the world, and some people just won't get the idea, or they won't change their mind. They won't change their thinking. They won't change their ideas, even based off new information provided. So I feel as though how we position ourselves is by creating more discourse like this, because this is the way, like these are seeds that we're planting. That maybe one day a young man or a young woman who might feel lost might stumble across a video like this and be like, "Oh, bet they were talking about some kinds of things. Allow me to go and do some more research and understand things from a different perspective because they opened up my mind to these concepts." Because even in terms of definition, I was introduced to these concepts by being here in today's video, you know? So I feel as though having that kind of outlet for us to create positive videos and other kinds of content so that people can look at it at a later point in time, I feel is a great way to kind of help to shift the thinking of the people.
It's draining. It's frustrating.
Frustrating.
It
Yeah.
it takes a lot of patience. That
Mm-hmm.
coming from someone who is very impatient with this, really, you have to sit down with yourself and hold yourself accountable for all your horrible
Mm-hmm.
decisions. Even
Mm-hmm.
just sit there and say, "Dang, I didn't even. I thought I knew this. I guess I didn't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I thought I was doing the right thing. I really wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've I've
Yeah.
I've been responsible for leading people in the wrong ways, and I have to take the ill for that because
Mm-hmm.
I thought I knew what I knew, and then sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, your pride just get in the way a lot. And
A lot. Yeah.
I don't want that on my head.
So how do you mitigate that?
For starters, look at the future.
Mm.
So if someone comes to me for advice and they ask me about something, my first question is to myself: are they ready for the truth?
Mm.
Are they going to listen? Is what I'm going to say going to go in one ear out the other? How do I plant this seed?
Mm-hmm.
Because we are literally um, seed sowers. It doesn't
Of
matter if
course.
you're just speaking life into someone or you're speaking life into yourself. Every single word that comes out of our mouth matters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people understand that.
Mm-hmm. That power.
Yeah, they go somewhere. They don't just go into the universe and just vanish forever.
Right. Right.
That's why if you're ever angry at someone and you project that onto them, that spirit jumps off onto them and they become angry and disgruntled. It's infectious. So I always look at it from this point of view. Is what I'm going to say going to be damaging or helpful? Is this going
Mm-hmm.
to end up coming back to me and bite me in the butt, or is it going to be the reverse?
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a responsibility. Once the words come out of my mouth, they do what they're going to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whatever comes from that, I'm going to have to deal with it just like them.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
I don't.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know if people understand that you might not necessarily directly affect a person, but you can indirectly affect a person just off of what you do too. So, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
always thinking about that.
Yeah. Does it ever get heavy on your heart?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
there's been people in my life where I spent years trying to be honest with them, and then
Mm-hmm.
all it would do is backfire, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know you've been there where you have the
Mm-hmm.
best intentions. You know why you're breaking, and you break it down to them. You give them the whole presentation like you're in the office setting. You're standing
Mm-hmm.
in front of the whiteboard. You got your PowerPoint. This is this. This is this. This is this. And they still look at you like you the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That right there would make anybody go in a whole
Right.
different direction.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's a burden. It's real heavy. I don't think a lot of people understand what love is, what agape love is,
Mm.
what it's supposed to look like, what it reflects when a person is
Mm-hmm.
really your brother, when a person is
Mm-hmm.
really supporting you. They don't know the difference between helping and hurting. And
Mm-hmm.
you can tell a person, like you said this earlier, you can do but so much. If the only the person is going to know when their season has arrived for them to be able to
Mm-hmm.
receive the message.
Mm-hmm.
So not only do I have to accept the fact that I did this from the kindness of my heart, but I have to accept the fact that you're going to reject it too, and I
Right.
have to be
Exactly.
okay. I have to be okay with you rejecting it. But once you reject it, I'm gonna have to remove myself to a certain point because now what's happening is you're walking in folly. You're at a place where you don't want to receive that message from me, so you're going to have to
Mm-hmm.
receive it a different way, and it's not going to be the way that you think it's going to be. So yeah, this is not an easy walk, especially when you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to really be a good person.
Yeah.
If that really counts.
For anything, Yeah, man. I find the way that I mitigate it is that I don't even try to and not to be misunderstood here, but I'll say the entire thought and then we can dissect. But it's like I don't even really try to help people in the sense. I don't try to convince anybody of nothing because then somebody can turn around and say, I misled them, as we talked about earlier. So what I do is I live my life without fear. And then when people ask me, they say, hey, how do you get like that? Then I can show you what I did. I can't tell you how you're going to get there, but I can just show you what I've done. And then perhaps you can use that as a starting point. It's for me, it's always do your own research and do your due diligence. Even for me, I'm a teacher, but don't just listen to me. Go and check out the books that I recommend, or go and check out the reading material that I read, and see for yourself. Big Crit tells us, don't let nobody tell you, try for yourself. So I feel as though, because it gets heavy, man. It's heavy when you're trying to, especially when you kind of, I guess, become awakened, or you kind of see the world from a different perspective, and you want to help people and you want to try to put people on, your friends, your brothers, and everything. But it's like, I've come to understand that you can really hurt people if you give them more information than which they're ready for.
That's a good point. That's a real
Yeah.
good point. And let me see if I got this right. Because when you said that, I was thinking exactly. It took me back maybe a couple years, and I said, "Look, man, this you have to get to the root of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't attack this, you're going to continue to be angry. You're going to continue to be
Living in
self
this paradigm.
sabotaging, and you understand that the patterns that you have, they come from a generational curse.
Mm-hmm.
Someone in your family did the exact same things that you did, or something similar. That spirit passed on from them to the next person, to the next person, to the next
Mm-hmm.
person. Now it has arrived at your doorstep. That's more information that I think a person who's not in that place that you are is ready for.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Because all they're gonna think is, who are you? You can't tell me what to do. You ain't my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't my mama.
Mm-hmm.
And you get cussed out, and you get
You get cussed out for trying to
word.
help. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's only until afterwards, when the damage is done,
Mm-hmm.
that a person spins the block and says, "Yeah,
Yeah.
you were right." But
Right.
what's the? Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What's the hardest part about being in that position to you? You want to do the right
Oh
thing.
man. Yeah. I think for me the hardest part is knowing that I can't help everybody. Every man them or friend or whoever that I try to put on or whatever it may be, I can scream until the hilltops turn, This guy's try this, do this, read your Bible, do da 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 da, but you know. So I think it hurts my heart in the sense, or I find it difficult to think that we really are all alone. And I don't mean that in the sense of loneliness because I'm speaking to you. We've got our viewers watching us. I don't feel alone. It's just that it's the lonely walk when you realize your purpose, when you open your eyes, when you take those glasses off and you see, oh, there's BS going around that they've been feeding us our entire lives. And then it's like you're trying to tell people, don't do that because you can hurt yourself. You can do this. It's going to cut time off your life. Don't stress. Speak with intention. We just talked about the power of the tongue. And then they say, no, 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 that they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. So, say, okay, what can I do? I can't force nobody to do nothing. I can't, especially not a grown man or a woman, you know? So, I mean, it hurts my heart when I feel as though I try to show people a better way or a different alternative, and they want to stay stuck in their ways that are already producing fruit of lack and fear and shame and guilt, but they don't want to change their mind.
That's one message that I want to put out there to the viewers as well, because I've had this conversation before with folks where they feel bad for not being able to convert a person or to get a
Mm-hmm.
person to see where they're coming from. We all have our own individual walk to take.
To take, yeah,
Once you
yeah.
once we leave this live stream, all our responsibilities, all our headaches, all our spiritual warfare, all the things
Mm-hmm.
that we see that no one else see, we still gotta deal with that. Can nobody
Mm-hmm.
else deal with that?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
the best you can do is understand that you did what you could.
Mm-hmm.
You can be there for a person to a certain degree,
Mm-hmm.
and if push come to shove, you might have to walk away from some people.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
It
ain't
takes me
meant to
back to
stay there.
exactly, everybody not meant to stay there, man. It reminds me of you can't change the people around you, you can only change the people around you. You feel
That's a
me?
fact.
So, yeah, yeah. And it's never a diss thing, you know, as we grow and you change on this life, especially as you change your frequency, you start to see like different friends fall off and things happen that like, and you don't have to action anything. It will take care of itself automatically, you know? You'll just see that certain friends will stop coming around or certain people will stop checking in on you, and then you know that it means that you guys have moved on. So never, it's not to say that no is no and they can't come back and you can't be friends again later at another time, you know? But as things change, they change. Even any change is a complete change. So
And it's not always a bad thing. So
yeah,
as many times as I feel and bump my head, it's like, was it really worth crying over and
mm-hmm.
sleeping restlessly?
Yeah,
You
for
think you
nothing.
so in love with a person. You
Mm-hmm.
think that this is your best friend for life, and this that,
Mm-hmm.
and when you really get to that point, and you got that list in front of you, then you really look at it. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have no choice but to look at it. It's like, what was I really angry for? Why
Mm-hmm.
was I wasting? Like, come on, like this person wasn't really what I thought they were.
Anyways,
Maybe I wasn't the person that I thought I was.
that I thought I was. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you really gotta take everything with a grain of salt. That's why I love
Mm-hmm.
this particular subject, because I've been on both sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see other people open their mind to this, but I understand how humans are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, I'll only say but so much, like at work or out in the public settings and things like
Yeah.
that. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I say, but maybe a few words here and there, and then I'll let you form whatever opinions you want.
Exactly.
Back
You
here,
want to.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is
Because
your
at the end of the
goal?
day, you know, yeah, no, no. What's my goal moving forward? Is that the question?
Yeah, you was getting ready to share your thought, and then I ain't mean to interject.
No, no, that's all good, all good, all good, man. My then what's sorry, can you repeat the question if you don't mind?
So my question was, what is your goal or your objective moving forward? Like,
Yeah. So my
so
objective moving
I
forward
know,
and to give you the grand plan is to use my imagination to create an imagination. So I want to build a community. I want to connect with everybody who's trying to like better their situation, change their life for the better, get to this paper for good, and just build a community, see what we can do together. And then like truly it reminds me, I think, of what some conspiracy theories refer to as the family of the 13, where it said it only took 13 people to take over the world. So in my mind, I think to myself, okay, 13 like-minded brothers, one is in construction, one is in electronics, one is in media, one is in law, one is in business, one is in, and then we all come together, we as a collective unit. Powerhouse, man. There's nothing, everything in this world is for us to take and to use and to enjoy. So I feel as though like I want to just empower as many people that are looking to change their perspective. You know, I'm essentially trying to be that person that I wish I knew at 18.
I couldn't say that any better.
Yeah, man. Because we all need help at some point. We all still do, you know? But to think about like yourself as a youngster and then to think like, damn, like all them times where you just wish that you could have met somebody like you now. So be that person.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah.
40 plus. Well, I ain't gonna put the plus on there. I ain't there yet, but
Sorry, I think your audio cut out.
that I wish I would have utilized sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
Now, now is the perfect time to be a little more efficient and more vocal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what this channel is for. I mean, between showing love to the artists and things like that, I'm trying to really connect to them folks that's walking in the dark.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They don't like they don't really try to push these type of platforms. I noticed a lot of sexual deviancy, gossipy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One one thing that they got floating around is the pop your balloon thing, man. They doing that in dang near every country. It looked like, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at all of these different platforms. It's sad to me because this is what people are measuring entertainment on. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be that.
Right. I think it's on us to just create the kind of content in which we wish to see, because in all things, all content and movies and music, and I have ideas for all these things, and I just think that like I just make the content that I would want to watch. So I don't want to watch anything that have, for example, are people being depicted in a negative manner. I want to see us having money and enjoying things in life. So I'll make a movie like that, you know, because I can't rely on what's trending. I can't rely on what the internet says is heat to dictate what I see in my life and in my world.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any final thoughts on uh, this particular
Yeah,
topic
where do you
here.
feel?
Any
So,
thoughts
how
for
do
the
you
people?
feel? Absolutely. Food for thought for anybody listening. How do you feel as though the internet itself, as a collective unit, goes into either category? Because we know in the internet we see things like people getting doxxed, or we see people things like people getting canceled. So, like, if for example, if somebody gets canceled, is that an example of moral absolutism, where the internet has decided that this is wrong or this is an action in which to be judged? Or is it consequentialism, where they say, well, it's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do? What do you think?
My honest opinion, I firmly believe, and this is just my belief, that this is Satan's playground,
Mm,
and what has essentially happened is because people don't believe he exists, he uses the internet to spread his will,
mm,
and what you think is not here and what you think does not exist is the very thing that got you confused,
the first,
frustrated,
yeah.
thinking that this piece of information means more than that piece of information. He's so good at manipulating people through the eyes
Hmm.
that what you find to be boring could be the very thing
That you
that
need.
purifies you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Confusion.
it's. I mean, yeah. What it say? He's the author of confusion.
Hmm. He's the author of
So I
confusion.
mean, if you if you want to look at you want to look at it either way, I don't think that there's a absolutist or the other
Mm.
in this scenario. I really believe that he's used politics, he's used sex, he's
Hmm.
used man versus women, he's used red pill
Hmm.
content, uh, he's his greatest strength, I think, is distraction. His
Yes,
ability to
exactly.
distract you.
Hmm. Hmm.
How do you distract somebody, right?
Hmm.
You throw something in front of a person that they have a weakness for,
Mm.
that their flesh has a weakness for.
Mm.
And once you distract them, now you have the opportunity to fill them with whatever garbage you want to fill them with.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
It's quite genius.
It's
it's a
genius. It's
repetitive.
genius. Division tactics. It's the same because like it can be seen on all levels. You know, whether we because anything that happening in the spiritual is happening in the physical. Everything happening in the physical happening in the spiritual as well too. So it's just like you can see these things take place on multiple different levels. Like you said, um, red pill content, men versus women. Like it's a division of the genders. Like there's not anywhere else for us to go. You know what I mean? Like they have men hating women and women hating men, and we need each other. So it doesn't make sense to me. You know. And then even if we look at Hosea chapter 4 verses 6, it's we're destroyed. My people are destroyed by a lack of knowledge. So it's the fact that he can just come in here, confuse people, make you think one thing is this, up is down, left is right, and then before you know it, you're fighting with your wife, you're fighting with your girl, you're fighting with your boss. So then you don't even have a chance to stop and look and think, wait a second, do I really believe this? Wait a second, is this really the will of the Lord? If not, then, You're just confused, spinning around in a chair for your whole life, and then never getting to enjoy the things that this world has to offer, the gifts and the promises that is set out for us in the scripture. You know.
This idea that we have these invisible entities
Mm-hmm.
manipulating and controlling us. That I think, I think that's what really got people like, man, come on,
Mm-hmm.
you telling me there's some invisible power making people kill people and
Yes.
sleep like look well if you think that there's no such thing as an invisible whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, can you see wind? Can you see air?
Exactly, exactly. But yet still, you can breathe. Yet still, you can breathe. Yeah, man.
If you get if you touch a electrical socket, will you not get electrocuted?
Exactly. The energy is immutable. It's unbiased. You know, it's just a matter. You're right. It's
Hey,
just a matter of if you put a proper plug in the socket or you put a fork. You decide. As the operator, you're the one that plugged something in. It's up to you if it's a charger for your phone or if it's a fork.
exactly.
So, and then you'll get out whatever you put in it. So, yeah, man.
And what do they use to try to resuscitate a person that's flatlined? What do they use?
Flatline
Do they
CP, yeah,
use?
man. They use electricity, right? The CPR machine, the defibrillator. So it's all electricity. It's all frequency. It's man. We could talk all night, bro. Because even that reminds me of Isaiah 55, chapter 55, verse 11, where we talked about the words. So shall my words go forth out of my mouth, and they will not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please. So, like we said, it's like the frequency from the mind to the mouth goes out, and then whatever you say when you come out, going to come back to you. Up to you what you say.
And I like that you said that. Hold on. I like that you said that because remember, right? Remember, I said earlier that we are seed sowers.
Yes, yes.
So he created us in his image, but he
Mm-hmm.
gave us free will.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever we say out of our mouth is going to return to us.
It will
However,
return to us.
you pick it
Yeah.
up, and
So.
depend, depending on who you serving,
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
something to think about. So if
Something
you
to think
sitting up
about.
if you if you sitting up here beating yourself up all the time, downing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
cussing people out, gossiping about people, what do you think you're gonna get back?
What are you gonna get out of it? Exactly. 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 You know.
It's,
So,
it's
because
kind of
even it's
it's
counterproductive.
kind of
Yeah. Exactly. Very counterproductive, man. And then even in terms of like just I'm very interested in shapes, sacred geometry, all these kind of things as well too, right? So it's like if you look at the ear, and if you notice that the ear looks like a womb, because ideas go in there, then they go into your brain, and then something comes out of your mouth, and that becomes your child. So it's like once I start to see, exactly. Once I start to see these kinds of things, I'm like, no, no, it's real. You really got to watch what you hear. Like when the monkeys see no evil, think no evil, speak no evil. It's real. You can't just be out here in these streets saying everything you want, blah blah blah, and then you can't be surprised when these things come home. When the seeds bear fruit.
we went from moral absolutist to the word. And look, I ain't mad at it because quite frankly, we need more of it up here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
it's
real.
all connected to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you have the internet, you have the media, then you have the book. we have the word.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Mm-hmm.
which one seems more appealing to people?
Right. Definitely the internet for sure. That's gonna be because like anything that take you away from doing what you're supposed to do is your god. You know. So for all these people that is consumed by the internet is their god. You know. So as a result, they'll do anything to please the internet, to get likes, to get views, and to you know, but it's fake. Yeah.
I want to. I want to. I want to. I want to. It
Yes,
just
I see
flows.
this
It just
section
flows.
8. Section 8 from Greg says we are more of spiritual beings existing on a fleshly realm. I agree. I actually think that we are not people trying to have a spiritual experience. We're spirits having a human experience. And then once I changed my thinking in that regard, then my life changed, man. So, yeah, we agree. I agree, Greg.
Uh, Let me see. It was something that I was about to. It might have tied into what he said too. Um, it was just there. Oh, I wanted to elaborate real quick on what you said, just to piggyback
Mhm.
off that. Because I think people don't understand that when you said the internet is your god, he's not just talking about this right here. He's talking
Mhm.
about online shopping.
Mhm.
He's talking
Mhm.
about uh, coupons, dating apps, uh, your favorite gossip networks,
Mhm.
uh, the news channels. He's talking about that too in itself. It's
Mhm.
not just this space because we
The
don't take
internet
things in
itself.
moderation. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
because we don't all worship the same stuff. Some people
Exactly.
worship shopping. Some people want to
Mhm.
be in the food network all day. It really just
Mhm.
depends on what it is, and like you would never know that obsessing over Gucci was idolizing.
Yeah, exactly. Something external outside of yourself that you're saying, once I have Gucci, I'll be Gucci. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Hey man, look, we covered a lot. We covered a lot. I,
We
I hope and, and pray that this sticks with someone. I don't know who needs to hear it, but I hope it sticks with somebody.
same.
I come across channels and I come across videos sometimes, and I hear something, and I needed to hear it
Mhm.
for one reason or the other. Whether it was to show me this is not something that I need to be gravitating towards, or something that I need to be more focused on, and I'm neglecting. So overall, I enjoyed tonight's conversation. It
Same.
went exactly. It went exactly the way I anticipated it. I couldn't have asked for a better guest to be up here.
Thank you. I'm humbled. Grateful to be a part of the platform.
Yeah, it was a long time coming. I'm very very grateful,
Same.
and
And I'm open to doing it again,
I'm
man. As these topics and they come to mind, let's connect.
oh absolutely absolutely. And if you ever need me to you know pull up for anything, I'm always
For
around. Lord
sure.
willing,
For sure.
we we definitely gotta because yeah man, it's
Yeah.
too much.
I got,
It's,
I,
it's
yeah.
it's way more.
Yeah. Yeah. There's too much. There's too much.
I need,
Pardon me. Sorry, you go first.
you got it. You got it.
No, I'm just saying. There's a lot of free money out there on the internet that we can utilize by creating content. So I'm here for all these kinds of discussions, all these engaging topics, and because here's my thing, brother. Use the thing. Don't let the thing use you. Right? As we talked about in terms of social media and all these things, use the thing. Use it. They pay people money every day to post and put their pictures on and paying them. So use the thing. Don't let the thing use you. That's my message.
That's exactly why I was like, man, what are we doing with these platforms?
Mm-hmm.
What's the point? What's the point of them?
Mm-hmm.
I had to ask myself that too, because I've been on YouTube for like 15 years. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really do anything with it until like 2-3 years
Mm-hmm.
ago,
Mm-hmm.
because I started to realize the older that I got, what was I really sowing into the world, or what was I really doing
Right.
for God?
Right.
So I don't want my life to be a waste. I don't want my channel to be a
Mm-hmm.
waste,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much where I'm at with it right now. So I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot we can do, man. They're literally paying people money to post on the platform, so it's time to take it seriously. And you know, like this is where I talk about, where I say money and all these other kinds of things that we talk about on my channel, is that, like, for at least for me, that's been a big issue in my life. So I'm like, yo, let's see how many people we can get to never have to work again in their lives and have some fun along the way. So
You
yeah, man,
saying,
yeah, there's other
you
alternatives,
say,
other
yeah,
opportunities as opposed,
yeah, yeah.
so I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
But look, man, I ain't gonna keep you too much longer. Uh, you are always welcome up here. I'm only a DM away. I haven't been on. I had to fast for a few days, so I had to stay away
Mm-hmm.
from IG and all that. I ain't been on it
Mm-hmm.
at all. Like, so, because I have a message that I
Mm-hmm.
have to put out there, and it required me to stay away from social media.
Right.
Um,
Right.
this is important. I don't want to play around with it. I don't want to play around with God and what He
Mm-hmm.
put in me to share. So yeah, bro, when you ready to come back up, man, we'll make something
All
happen.
right. All right.
Shout out to Greg. Shout out to everybody that was watching from Twitter and Twitch and Facebook and wherever else you was. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. Uh,
Greatly, greatly
make
appreciate
sure
it.
y'all make sure y'all tap in with this brother, man. DM me your links so that I can
For
put it in
sure.
the comment section.
Faux show. Sounds good, brother.
All right, all right. This is Assembly of Excellence saying good night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Pen and Soul Awards Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll see y'all then.
Peace, everybody. Love and blessings.